Okay guys, so we're in the attic where you can see where the water's coming in. You can see it. Water penetration there. And you can hear some of it dripping right now. And that does the water stains. It's coming down to the wall. You can hardly see in the video. What is there? So the leak is coming from both these dormers. This is the living room area. And this is where that other leak was at, right here. This is the bedroom area, and this is where the leak is coming out in the bedroom. Hey guys, we are currently in claim number 1179W196K. Again, that is claim number 1179W196K. It is May 29th, about 8:30 p.m. You can see the roof is really wet. We're actually called in here to Mrs. Rakestraw's house in order to avoid more water to come in and continue causing more damage in the living room area, and particularly more the bedroom area and the living room area. Now we went ahead and tarped it over here. There was a bit of shingles that were unsealed around the gutter. So water was coming in through there, affecting the living room. And we went ahead and also put another tarp over here next to this dormer. This is in the bedroom. The leak in the bedroom is getting really bad, as it is when not as bad as in the living room, but this area is also getting pretty bad. Well, really bad. A lot of the sheetrock looks like it's going to start caving in any second here on this area, particularly in the bedroom. Now, I had also mentioned in our previous email about even doing repairs in the valleys, because in the valleys there's quite a bit of affected shingles. We have in this valley, we have 1, 2, 3 shingles. This one as well is 2, but it's a little bit in between. You could say 4. This one's a little far from the valley too. It's 5. But particularly the ones I'm mostly worried about is this one, 1, this one, 2, and that one is number 3. And the reason why is because valleys have ice and water shield. That's why I drew these 2 lines. The ice and water shield actually comes down this valley where both lines are at. And in order to even properly do the repair here, the estimate should have been written up for this valley as well. Reason why is because once we remove this shingle, we're also compromising, or in this shingle too, I didn't see this shingle. So for sure we have 4 sitting right in the valley, right over the ridge as well here. So the thing is that we have all these nails that are placed in each shingle. So in order to even replace this shingle right here, we would need to dig into this nail, this nail, this nail, this nail, this nail, this nail, and as well as for this nail. So this is all where the shingle starts here and ends right here. If we dig into this nail right here, it's gonna tear. Well, there's a lot of shingles actually here on the valley. Here's another one. It's hard to see them right now with the rain and the roof being so wet. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at, so it's 5 shingles sitting right on the valley. What I'm trying to get at is that we ultimately end up compromising the ice and water. Again, the ice and water shield goes in between these 2 lines. This is usually how the ice and water shield is. So in order to even properly do the repair here where the shingles won't be compromised. The ice and water won't be compromised when removing these shingles right here. We could leave nail hole placements on the ice and water. Now, when the ice and water is compromised, we cannot give any workmanship warranty. There are very high risk areas. The water comes racing down these valleys. So if we leave any of these holes on the ice and water, they're again high risk areas where water could start penetrating through the roof into the interior, being very high risk areas. So again, like even if we were to replace this shingle right here, we would have to remove this nail, this nail, this nail, and the nose right here. All in which these two in particularly are sitting on the ice and water. This one in particularly is sitting on the ice and water too. This nail, you can see it right there. This one's sitting on the ice and water. Again, we just saw this shingle. We hadn't seen it earlier. But in order to even fix this shingle, we will need to remove the nail right here. So it looks like this shingle starts here and ends here. So I'll have to remove that nail, the nail that's right here, the nail that's right here, one right here, and one right here. So even in order to repair this shingle, right here is the two lines where the ice and water is sitting between these two lines, we would leave these nail holes. Again, very high risk areas, especially being in the valleys. So here, look, this would leave this nail hole, and this one, and this one. Now, I also want to go over the shingles that are sitting right by the ridge, because in order to even dig into these shingles as well, we would need to dig into the ridge. So you can see that this shingle's sitting right here. In order to remove this shingle, when I remove it, this whole ridge is going to come off. And you can see right away. In order to remove this shingle, this whole ridge area right here needs to come off, meaning this ridge. Well, these shingles need to come off. This ridge starts being dismantled whenever working that area. Same here. When we're removing this shingle here, this ridge needs to be removed. Now, in this valley, we also dealt with a similar situation. So the ice and water is in those, basically where the yellow lines are at. And where we would end up compromising the ice and water is these purple holes. These purple dots. So we'll leave all these holes into the ice and water. The shingle also sitting really close to the ridge. That ridge will ultimately end up being compromised when doing that repair. The same goes for this shingle, right about the ridge. So what would I say in order to, what had initially even had to been in the estimate was this whole ridge. So you can see this right here too. We'll leave all these nail holes here when digging into this ridge. So initially the estimate should have been written up for this whole ridge area right here, minimally. The valley here, the ice and water in this valley, and the ice and water in this valley as well, and as well as this ridge. So it should have been written up for this ridge as well, since the shingle is sitting on the ridge. And in order to even do the prescribed repairs that was in the initial scope, we need to dig into those ridge. In the same way, to even do the repairs that were prescribed in the initial scope, particularly the shingles in this valley, we need to compromise the ice and water. And in order to even give them the proper warranty, we would actually need to remove all this ice and water. Meaning, if we remove all this ice and water, all these shingles need to come with it. So all the shingles here in this area would have to come with that ice and water in order to be able to do the repair on these shingles. And again, we went ahead and tarped up the areas where to avoid any further more interior damage. Right above the living room, and right above, right around that dormer on the bedroom. But yeah, guys, let me know if you have any other questions. One last thing I'd like to go over is the repair attempt that we did do here. As you can see here, we did a repair attempt. We sent that video a long time ago to State Farm, showing that new creases were created. You can see these creases and replacing the affected shingle. From the recent, so again, just like we were talking about the ridge area over there, this shingle that was also when affected would need to be written up for ridge. There's just no way we can dig into the shingle. Looks like the shingle starts here and ends there. So there'd be no way for us to dig into the shingle without digging into this ridge. So to begin with, the estimate should have been written up for that too. And of course, we have the whole back slope filled with tarps now, where there's missing shingles.